Hey folks, welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Well folks, we are back with another mail call and a first impressions video, this time from all the way up north in the Yukon from Two Brewers Distillery. So go watch the intro, come on back, and we'll crack this open and see what they sent over. Stick around, guys. Well, hey folks, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and the mail calls just keep coming here in the Seaway. This time I got a package from way up north in the Yukon from Two Brewers Distillery. They were nice enough to send me over a bottle to the channel for me to review and check out. So thank you very much, Two Brewers. Really appreciate the support of the channel, and really appreciate you sending me some of your craft Canadian spirits for me to take a look at. So I was gonna just put the bottle out there, but you know, I owe you guys an unboxing. This is the closest thing to an unboxing you're gonna get, guys. I was communicating with Bob via email. He already told me what I was gonna get, so I already know what's in here. But you know, I threw the postage box away, and I just have this very standard Two Brewers box here. But let's crack into it for the big reveal. And we have ourselves Two Brewers single malt Canadian whiskey, Yukon Canadian whiskey, release number 48, classic. Very, very nice indeed. 43% ABV, and right there on the back, non-chill filtered and no color added. You know, I love how transparent some of these distilleries are, like Two Brewers, like Bridgeland, Shelter Point, McAloney's. I love the transparency and the respect that they give to the whiskey enthusiast. I got some literature in here too. And this is just like the, so Bob sent this over to me to take a look at. It kind of gives an explanation of the bottle and the expression, and I think it's good. I'm gonna actually share it with you guys before we crack into it here. So release number 48, so there's no age stamp on it, it's NSA, but it does give you the makeup of the ages of whiskeys that were used in this expression, and I think that's excellent. So 47% of the whiskey that was used in this expression is 10 years of age, then 30% of it is 11 years of age, and then 23% is 14 to 17-year-old. And I believe the 17 is the oldest stock that Two Brewers currently has in their warehouse. ABV stamp again, 43%. This particular release has 1,304 bottles, and it was released back in January 2025. And I'm not sure who wrote this excerpt here, but from the simplicity of the release 47 emerges the mad scientist again. The liquid in this whiskey are blends of blends of blends. There are no less than 17 different mashes of whiskey in this whiskey blend. I suppose one could look at it as a bit of a barrel / heel cleanup. And I suppose of note, 6% of the liquid in this expression are 17 years of age, the oldest stock in our warehouse barrels at the time. So yeah, there's the oldest stock of 17 years of age is used in this release here, guys. Our blender was of the opinion that our last classic or two had a bit of fruitiness to them and wanted to avoid getting into a rut. So his focus here was to lean back to the oak. The bulk of the liquid is pale malt barley, but when one is tapping so many barrels, we ended up with a bit of peated and a bit of PX sherry finish in there as well. And that's all part of those blends that are used in this one here, guys. While there is a small bit of PX sherry influence, the barreling was mostly ex-bourbon of various makes and models, with a bit of virgin oak thrown in for good measure. Honestly, there are so many different barrels that the liquid touched that it could only be fool's errand to try and list them all out. So you got a very, very interesting and very expressive expression. And I guess we're gonna find that out when we crack into it, but I'm really excited, guys. This is pretty neat. And again, so much transparency. Thank you folks over at Two Brewers for treating the whiskey enthusiast like me and others with dignity and respect, and giving us all the information on there. So what do we got here? We got a nice little tag on it here explaining the different releases here. So they have a classic release, a peated release, special finishes, and innovative. Again, this is the classic release here, and 43% ABV. So, you know, I've been waiting long enough, guys. Thanks again to Brewers for sending this over, and I am gonna crack into this, hopefully without any incident. And if I do, you guys know I'm gonna edit this out. But yeah, nice easy pop, and we'll go for a cork pop. Beautiful. Pour ourselves a dram up with Two Brewers, release number 48. So I'm gonna give this probably about I'm gonna give it about 5 to 10 minutes to just relax, guys. So with the power of editing, I'm gonna create a transition. So transition now. All right, folks, I am back. It's been about 7.5 minutes. I couldn't wait the full 10, but it's been about 7.5 minutes or so since I just left this out and came back to it here. So I think that's plenty of time for it to kind of acclimate and aerate here. The bar smells just wonderful. But let's get into the color and take a look at the color. Again, first impressions, obviously. It's a fresh crack here in the bar. And we'll go in for a color check here. Beautiful, beautiful. Almost like an apple cider vinegar kind of note to it there. Gold. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I can definitely see little bits of stuff floating around in there, which is always a good sign. Yeah. Very nice golden color. Again, primarily ex-bourbon. There is some peated in here, and there is some PX sherry in here as well in the blend, as well as God only knows what this is really the mad scientist of expressions from Two Brewers, as noted in the documentation they provided. So the nose is calling to me, guys. So let's get on to the nose and see what we can get out of this beautiful Yukon single malt Canadian whiskey from Two Brewers. On the nose. Very vibrant nose, easy nose. Not from a complexity standpoint, but doesn't singe the nose hairs. 43%. Plenty of age on this. Again, the youngest whiskey that's in this release is 10 years of age. The oldest is going to be 17. But nothing offensive at all on the nose. Very well rounded. Orchard fruits right up front. Right into some caramels and some vanillas. Creme brulee notes, a little bit of burnt caramel notes in there. I'm getting some cereal notes, some malty notes, some pear. Maybe a little bit of grapefruit as well, just a little bit of grapefruit on the back end. And then a little bit of spice. It's a white pepper kind of spice on the nose. It doesn't burn your nostrils or something like that, just lets you know it's there. Yeah, maybe a little bit of fruit too, maybe a little bit of some raspberry, like light raspberry, light blackberry, or more of a jam kind of blackberry raspberry preserve kind of note to it there. Very nice indeed. Well, yeah, let's move on to the palate and see what we can get out of the palate. Again, first impressions, my first time trying this release from Two Brewers. I've had a couple other releases. They were all excellent. And if you haven't checked that video out, go back and check out that video where I basically introduced myself to Two Brewers. The classic version in that video was the one I really liked personally. That was the one I said I would have picked. So, I'm probably not going to be too surprised about how much I like this one, but you know what? I've waited long enough. Let's get in the palate and see what we can get out of it. So cheers to your health, and hopefully you're having something good to do, and hopefully it's Canadian. Cheers. First off, mouthfeel is excellent. Absolutely excellent. I kind of just had to laugh there. It really is Scotch-like. I just love when I can pick up a Canadian release from anyone in Canada who's doing a single malt and doing it right, doing it with integrity, innovative, using like great premium ingredients, and just really putting in the work and the effort and the love into it. You can taste it, and I mean, you can definitely taste it in here with Two Brewers. Wow, excellent. Very Scotch-like again. All right, on the palate, oily, mouth coating, very, very nice. Not chewy or nothing like that, but it definitely has the texture that I like to see in my scotches and my whiskeys, in my Canadian single malts here. It's got a lot of texture to it, which I can appreciate. Very vibrant flavors, lively flavors, orchard fruits, apples, pears, all fresh. Green apples, nice fresh pears. There's some melon in there, green melon. Then I get some caramel notes in there. I'm definitely getting some of that creme brulee, burnt sugars. I'm getting like a little bit of a berry in there too. I'm gonna go back in here for one more sip and see what kind of comes past those vanilla caramel ex-bourbon casks notes. So we're going for one more sip. but there's gonna be plenty of sips after. Trust me, guys. I get a little tinge of orange in there too, some citrus, some lemon limes. Primarily lemons and primarily oranges. The oranges are like a navel orange. And then behind that, I'm getting some of those preserves. Mainly blackberry, I would kind of say, over top of the raspberry that I mentioned in the nose. The nose still has that in there, but it's more blackberry on here, maybe even currants, like currant preserve. Then the back end. Maybe there's a little bit of the peated casks in there. I am getting a little bit of ash, a little bit of tobacco note in there. It's pretty much like a light cigar, you know, a Connecticut shade cigar, and it kind of goes on to there into a little bit of that white pepper finish, maybe a little bit of clove finish there too. But it is nice, well balanced, not overly sweet, which I always, you know, sometimes you get some newer releases or some single malts, or you know, even some ryes and whatnot, and there's so much sweet, or even corn whiskey. It's just so sweet, it's overpowering. To me, it's just not balanced. This is great, very balanced, and a whole lot of flavor, a whole lot going on, and it's a beautiful single malt. They use some special water in there too. I think it's water from a glacier. I might have read that too. If anyone wants to correct me, you know, feel free. Again, first impressions, guys. I didn't go out and do a whole ton of research on Two Brewers and the release and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going off the notes they sent me and cracking the top here. But you know, it's definitely a premium product, and definitely using premium ingredients. And there is, you know, I think I've already said it once, that bit of effort and care and love and all that kind of stuff is into it, and they're doing some fantastic stuff. I'm gonna go in for one more sip. Yeah, final thoughts. Well-rounded, great, very interesting. I love the little bit of a tail behind it here. They give you tons of information on the website, on the packaging. Presentation's great. You know, what more can you say? Looking for a great Canadian craft distillery, or a great Canadian craft whiskey, pardon me, look no further than Two Brewers. You know, they've got it going on, and this release is a bomb. Even at 43%, and I know some of the enthusiasts are going to kind of gawk at it a little bit, 43%, this drinks beautifully. Yeah, I am stoked to get to know this bottle from Two Brewers. And you know, hopefully you guys will check them out. I'm going to put the link in the description below, so please feel free to go check them out. And yeah, they got lots of really cool stuff. Again, doing some pretty neat stuff way up there in the north. And if you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskey Wire for more content. And if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video, checking me out, watching me go through and try some great Canadian craft distillery whiskey, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Love your support of the channel, and love doing this for you guys. And you know, this is, you know, it's so much fun for me. Come down after a long day's work, crack a fresh bottle of Two Brewers single malt Canadian whiskey, and have a little dram and share my thoughts with you guys. Yeah, more to come. You know, Canada Day's coming up. I got lots of plans for Canada Day, and you'll be seeing more of this bottle for sure. All the best, guys. Take care, and I'll see you around. Bye for now.